Let me start by just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. With the wonderful weather and spring break and changing locations, I didn't quite know we would have turnout today, so just really, really thank you very much. So welcome to our monthly Community Coalition meeting. We are in our, second home. When we've had opportunities to not be at Holiday Inn in Champaign, we've been coming over here to the Wyndham. So City Councilman Chris Evans told me to say, welcome everyone to Urbana and spend more time over here. All right. So I want you all to do me a really, really big favor. So I get to stand up in front of you each month and the production goes off really flawlessly and you guys don't even know all the things that our team has done to get ready for the meetings. So if you guys would do me a big favor, give April, Michael, Brian with the camera, big round of applause. So I learned like when we moved the meeting over here, just like all the different stuff, right? So I'm just really thankful. So thank y'all for what you do. All right, so another part, well, I forgot. So how many first timers are here today? I know I've had a couple of them, so welcome, special welcome to the Community Coalition meeting. All right, and that's Robbie Walker coming in, all right. Trying to come in. So we're gonna do what we do each month. We have our law enforcement leadership. We're gonna ask them to come forward and provide an update. You guys are looking at me like, what is he talking about, right? We don't do this each month?
No.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm gonna have to put my bifocals on, sorry about that. Chief Boone couldn't make it today. He had some administrative things that he needed to take care of.
If you don't mind, if you can move.
So I'm blocking the projector. Got it. Anyhow, so Chief Boone apologizes that he couldn't be here. He had some administrative things he needed to take care of in Springfield today. So I'm here to give the Urbana Police update. So crime year-to-date 2024. Violent crime, we're down 7% as compared to the same time in 2023. Property crime, we're down 13% as compared to the same time in 2023. And total crime, we're down 10% as compared to the same time in 2023. Shootings, 8 year-to-date, 4 since the last coalition meeting, so that's significant. Those 4, there was one on February 25th at approximately a little bit after 10 o'clock at the 2400 block of Elm Street. Multiple calls, we recovered some casings, no victims, no damage in that particular call. March 3rd, not quite 1 o'clock in the morning, 1300 block of Beach. The victim was standing outside when an offender drove by and fired a shot and hit him in the leg, and he had serious injuries and he was transported to the hospital. That case is assigned to a detective currently. March the 6th, a few minutes after midnight again, 1800 block of South Cottage Grove. 2 offenders fired shots at 2 victims that were walking in the parking lot. There were no injuries, there were no, there were some damage to cars. Multiple casings and more than 1 caliber was used, so that means at least 2 guns. And then March the 11th, about 10 minutes after 11, 1800 block of Philo, 2 people were shot at, and both the offenders and the victims left the scene before we got there. So this was called in by somebody else. Let's see what else the Chief Boone want us to cover. One of the things that we're working on is capturing some additional data that will provide, hopefully, a broader view of violent crime, in particular gun violence. So one of the things that he's got our crime analysts working on is mapping of all gun-related incidents, not just shootings, but anything involving a gun. And then the other thing we're doing is we're taking some additional layers of information and we're going to overlay it on that and see if there's some commonalities there. We had an award ceremony the other day. During that ceremony, a total of 10 certificates of merit were issued to officers, 7 commendations, 1 life-saving award, and we issued our Civilian and Officer of the Year award. Let's see. Chief and others are working on partnerships with various nonprofits that will hopefully focus on youth in our community. I know that's important to Tracy. Tracy's had many conversations with the chief about that recently. And lastly, Happy Women's Month.
Thank you.
March 1st and March 31st. One of the things that I'd like to briefly mention is that one of our lieutenants, Zach Mikowick, has applied for something called the 30 by 30 initiative. I don't know if folks have heard about this. And the initiative is to have 30% of our workforce or sworn officers be females by 2030. We were successfully accepted into the second cohort in the nation. So we're going to get going on that. You'll soon see a press release about that. We're very excited. Matter of fact, they're taking photos for it this afternoon. So hopefully you'll see that on social media soon enough. Sheriff, don't stand in front of the projector.
All right. Thanks, Rich. Good afternoon, everyone. Dustin Harmon, Champaign County Sheriff. I do not have to put on my readers or whatever you want to call them. I had my eye doctor appointment yesterday, and he said I probably have one more year, I would say. So we'll see what happens with that. It's great to be back. I don't think I've been able to make the last couple of coalition meetings, so it's really good to be back with everybody. This morning, I issued my annual report for the Sheriff's Office for 2023, so I'm sure you'll be seeing some information about that in the coming days. I wanted to highlight a couple of statistics that stuck out to me for 2023. Sheriff's Office responded to 14,591 calls for service in 2023. That was slightly more by 122 than we responded to in 2022. We made 576 custodial arrests, which was slightly higher than 2022, and issued 170 notices to appear in lieu of a custodial arrest, which was more than 2022 as well. My deputies conducted 2,967 traffic stops, which resulted in 1,965 citations and 1,586 warnings being issued. And that is always, it's always interesting, and you try not to jump to conclusions on how statistics relate to one another, but those to me are important because we investigated 407 traffic crashes in 2023, which was 98 less than 2022. We had 2 fatality accidents in 2023, which was 4 less than in 2022. We investigated 13 shots fired incidents in county jurisdiction, which was down 3 from 2022. Our average daily population in the jail was 302, which was 18 inmates on average less than in 2022. And on average, an inmate spent 6 less days in jail than in 2022. Now, I want to put a little disclaimer on this, that the Pretrial Fairness Act took effect on September 18th, and so these numbers are probably going to be significantly different whenever I provide my 2024 annual report. But it's too early to really tell. I can tell on kind of a more macro level, or a more micro level, but on a macro level, it's really difficult to really see the impact so far. We also had several community engagement events, and we are planning even more this year, including in April, a Coffee with a Cop. We're partnering with Mahomet Police Department this time in April. And so I would encourage everybody to take a look at Facebook, follow us on Facebook for some of those events, and we really hope you can come out and join us whenever we do those face-to-face interactions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tim Tyler. Sometimes I think he's the one-star gentleman. So first of all, happy Women History Month to the wonderful women here in Champaign County, Illinois. So last 30 days, how about the last 2 months? Your Champaign Police Department have answered over 6,300 calls for service. That's an uptick from last year. So we're pretty busy right now. We're averaging about 2,100 calls per month. So the police are pretty busy out there. What I want to talk to everyone out here is that everyone can be a victim. I just want you to know that, okay? And what we have going on in the community right now are burglary to motor vehicles and package theft. My wife loves crime. Do you hear me? Okay, you too. You're scaring me too. So I'm coaching her up like, hey, don't leave it there, just drop it off and I'll pick it up later. But we do have some of our community members that are intentionally waiting till you go to work and they're going up and they're taking your packages. I just want you to know that, okay? Because you're gonna call and sing in your ring doorbell, and I get it, I get about 12 per day, okay? And then the second thing that they're doing, they are intentionally coming by your car at night, checking your door handles, and you would not believe how many people say, come shop in my car. Okay, so please lock your door. We're not seeing a lot where they're breaking windows right now, but we're still having a problem with the Hyundai and Kia thefts. We still have those steering wheel locks. Come by and get them, okay? So we've had 98 reports of property theft, 20 burglary to motor vehicles. Most of them were, please come shop in my car because the door is open at midnight, okay? So make sure you lock your car in. Shoplifting is up. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but I'm just gonna give it to you. So we're seeing an increase in shoplifting. We've had 40 reports in the last month where people are knowingly and intentionally removing merchandise from the final point of purchase. Is that good, Lloyd? That's very good. Yeah. Okay, the other thing we have, we already talked about that, crimes against person. So we've had 6 reports of assault, so that's fights, 47 burglary reports where we have had to go places and break up fights. And also, we've had 14 reports of shots fired. Most of them have been in the air, no property damage. We are working one investigation right now where we're trying to get information regarding the shooting, but some of the victims are not forthcoming with information. Lastly, I want to talk to you all about alarms because I don't want anyone in here to receive a bill from the city of Champaign regarding their alarms, okay? Because I get yelled at a lot by community members. We have 163 calls we receive for alarm calls. So businesses and residents. So make sure that you're taking time to turn on your alarm, turn it off. If it's a false alarm, you could be charged a price, okay? So we don't want to do that. And just like all the other police agencies, we are seeing, we're being very proactive. The last 2 months, we have recovered 20 illegal firearms from traffic stops. So there's still a lot of guns out there, but your law enforcement, we're being forward on this to make sure that they don't get into the wrong, or we take them out of the wrong hands. We continue to do foot patrols. The Champaign police are out doing foot patrols. We're working with our HOAs, walking around doing foot patrols in the different areas. We're doing directed patrols. We're going to the schools. We're making traffic stops in the schools, right? Because people are super speeding, like warp speeding in the school zone and throughout the community. So, that's all I got.
I'm Tim Hedden, I'm with University of Illinois Police Department. There's a little echo there. I apologize, I didn't bring you a lot of stats, exact stats. I can give you a few off my memory. We responded to about 22,000 calls for service last year. As far as Women's Month, Happy Women's Month, we are approximately 22% female sworn, and if you include our non-sworn, we're about 28% currently. So we're surpassing where we should be for the 30 by 30 right now, but that's currently where our stats are. As far as the department and university, most of you are probably aware that we got approved for a real-time crime center grant. We're still playing with that name a little bit, real-time crime center, real-time information center, because it goes a lot deeper than just crime. It's information for first responders, it's weather information, it's there's a lot behind that rather than just crime. We've been dealing with, we've had a security camera project on campus since 2008, And this seems to be the next step in the evolution there. We'll be able to monitor things in a real-time basis and be able to address things in real time rather than wait until an investigator comes in the next day. And I think many of the things that we saw the day after may be able to be caught that night or whenever that crime occurs. So I think this is a great opportunity for the community. One of the chiefs talked about community outreach and support team activities. Our community outreach team continues to go out into the community. Many of you, in fact, somebody asked me about the dog today, one of our therapy dogs. We continue to present in that capacity and try to spread goodwill and encourage communication back and forth. And one of the ways we're doing that currently, Sergeant Murphy and Detective Hurlis will both be traveling with a contingent from the university to, they go to South Korea, China, Turkey, and India on a trip to meet with some of those students and kind of prepare them for the United States and life here at the university once they get here. It's a very important initiative by the university. And I think that's all I've got for now.
All right, so let's give our law enforcement leadership another round of applause and give them blood today. All right, so we are next month going to be back over at the Holiday Inn. And how many of you were here last month? Get a chance to see our Operation Hope students. Didn't they do a phenomenal job, right? So next month's meeting is going to be all youth focused. So we're going to be focusing on and hearing from our young folks about what they want, what they need, how can we reach them, serve them, connect with them better. Hopefully what it will do is help connect us better, right? We're doing a lot of really good work in our community, but it's all still too siloed, right? So you all have heard me speak to that before, so I just want to get it on everybody's radar. So we'll have, still flushing it out, going to be pulling a group of youth providers together to help talk about and prepare, hopefully get some young folks in the room with us to help us with our guidance instead of us telling them. So we're really going to be intentional and focused on young folks next month. And I'm looking to maybe have a youth summit or something like that, Amy, at the club. So if we meet on Wednesday, we'll have a follow-up with young people maybe that Saturday at the club. So that's my mind and where I'm thinking right now. So you all think you've got some ideas about how we should do this, please, please, please call me. Tell me about some experiences, some of the work you all have done in your 8 organizations or you've heard about in other communities. Let's really use this as a learning opportunity for our young folks. And so next month, you'll see a lot more coming out about it. How many of you have heard about Illinois Soul, our radio station through WIF? So listen there. We'll be putting some information out there through the community about our youth April focus, getting us ready for the summer and all of those things. All right, so John Ruffin's going to come up and talk about some work that we have going through the city and through our neighborhood services department.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Tracy. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Ruffin again, and I am the Neighborhood Relations Manager with the City of Champaign's Neighborhood Services Department. I'm here today to share with you some information in regards to some upcoming engagement opportunities that we'd love you all to participate in. They are free and open to the general public, and so we thought that folks who attend the coalition would be great participants to share in these amazing opportunities. Next slide, please. So the first event is the Champaign Neighborhood. The first event is the Champaign Neighborhood Network Conference. It will be held on Friday, May 17th from 8 to 5. p.m. at the I Hotel on the University of Illinois campus. The conference is designed to support our grassroots engagement and organizing efforts at the neighborhood level. Next slide. Throughout the day, the conference will offer a feast of information and a diverse array of workshops, 21 different workshop offerings throughout the day. We'll have presentations from other governmental units within the community sharing information relative to programs and services impacting neighbors and neighborhoods throughout the community. We'll have presentations from nonprofit organizations serving community and with programs and services that they're providing to our neighbors. And then finally, we'll have front-facing city departments sharing information relative to goals of their departments that impact neighborhoods throughout the city of Champaign. As I said earlier, the conference is free of charge and open to the general public, and it is not restricted to just Champaign residents. There are neighborhoods throughout our community, and the information that we have, as I said, will be rich and diverse, and it will be able to be utilized throughout the community. Next slide, please. In order to get more information on the conference and the offerings thereof, you can visit champaign.gov/CNNC. That page will offer information in regards to the various workshops, a deeper and more thorough summary of each of the 21 workshops, and then also a link to Eventbrite where you can register for the conference. We currently have about 100 seats still available for the conference, and they are available on a first come, first served basis. Next slide, please. As we finish our day of education in the classroom, we will move directly into in-person activation. And so on the following Saturday, May 18th, from 12 to 4, we will host our summer engagement kickoff event where we will have a concert, food, family-friendly activities in one of the downtown parking lots. This will be an opportunity for members of the community to gather, and also an opportunity for community service providers and resource providers to share information relative to their services. So great opportunity to come together and kick off a summer of engagement for the next 5 months in addition to the conference. So I'm going to take any questions folks might have relative to the conference. Also in your seats, sprinkled throughout the audience, there were cards that had a QR code. You can go directly to the QR code and register and share forward that information. We'd love to have folks attend the conference.
Are there any quick questions for John? All right, so let's get down to neighborhood services. Again, another opportunity for us to come together as a community through neighborhood-based work. All right, so our friends from Champaign, or Rotary International, Champaign Rotary, all of it in there together. So Bill Whitman and Barbara Jones are going to come up and talk to us about Rotary.
Thank you, sir.
Use your mic, keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I had the great pleasure of meeting with Terry a couple of weeks ago. He and I have a mutual friend, Janet Nelson, with the District 6490. I met with Janet a couple of weeks prior, and she said, there's a person that you need to know. And she facilitated the meeting. Tracy and I got together, had a great conversation. We talked a lot about the coalition. We talked a lot about what's going on in the community, opportunities, challenges. And concurrent to that, unbeknownst to me, Barbara was having a conversation with Tracy about presenting at the coalition. So Barbara said, Bill, I think you should present. I said, well, I'm happy to do so. She said, well, you know, a lot of people think you have to be a bank president to be a member of Rotary. She said, you're not that thing, so I think you would be a great guy to present. I said, well, I take that as a compliment. So I want to talk a little bit about Rotary. But first, I have a brief video. It's very short, but I think it'll give you a pretty good overview of the organization.
Rotary, a community as unique as you. Rotarians are people of action. We make our communities cleaner and safer places. We make our communities greener. We help shelter those who need homes. We feed the hungry and raise money to feed them by hosting dinners and luncheons. And with 1.2 million Rotarians throughout the world, we are globally focused and champion peace, fight illiteracy, and promote clean water and sanitation. We are a diverse and open organization that celebrates differences, but realizes that together we can grow more, do more. Together, we inspire. If you are looking for a way to make a difference, projects that challenge you, people who embrace you, opportunities to network and create lifelong friendships, look no further than Rotary. Rotary is a community as unique as you. Won't you join us?
How many of you are familiar with Rotary? Just show of hands. A lot of folks. How many of you are a member? I see some folks who are members of Rotary. You, just a handful. We want you to be a part of Rotary, and here's why. I think there's a lot of overlap between the coalition, your mission, your talent, your willingness to roll up your sleeves, to get involved and make a difference. That's Rotary. We need more people like you to be a part of Rotary. So I'm here to encourage you, provide a little bit of an overview of what Rotary is and what we do in the local community, but I think there are a lot of parallels to the coalition and Rotary. I know this is a little bit of an eye chart, so I won't go through all of those in great detail, but if we just start at the top, Rotary International looks at opportunities around the world. You saw it in the video, 1.2 million people around the world. So there's a broad network of what Rotary is, but it differs in a lot of ways in what the community needs and what people can do within the community to make a difference. But foundational to Rotary, no matter where Rotary is peace. There's a great body of research around peace and what that means and what enables peace within the community. So on the top of this little eye chart here, well-functioning government. If you don't have a well-functioning government, it's difficult to create peace within a community, right? So going from left to right, equitable distribution of resources, that just means access. It just means your ability as a resident within a community to be able to access the resources that you need to have a full life. Free flow of information is also about access. It's about your ability to get access to news and information that's relevant to you. And in some cases, that means providing telephone service or providing broadband service or other resources, newspapers and such. Good relations with neighbors, that applies to countries, it applies to neighbors, right, within our communities. High levels of human capital, and I'll touch on this a bit in the slide that comes next. It's about creating opportunities for people to go from hopelessness to being self-sustaining, providing people with resources that they can help themselves. Acceptance of rights of others, we talk a little bit about this in the next few slides. Low levels of corruption is pretty self-explanatory. Sound business environment, these are foundational to any thriving organization, any thriving country, any thriving community. Next slide, please. So free flow of information, we talked a little bit about this. It is about providing people with resources, providing people with access to information. If you don't have information, you can't make informed decisions. You just can't. So what Rotary is able to do, and we do this in Read Across America, which was a national program that the local chapter, I think with Urbana, participated in, as well as other Rotary chapters across the country, to help people with literacy, particularly young people. Equitable access to information through access to newspapers, radios. If you live in a community where the electricity is unreliable, solar-powered radios can go a long way in helping you not only stay informed about what's going on in your community and around the world, but it can help keep you safe. Next slide, please. Good relations with neighbors, some of the local activities, the photo to the left, shelter boxes. These are provided for people who are dealing with real life situations where their safety is at risk. So after a hurricane, after a disaster, flood, if you don't have access to a safe place to live, it's pretty tough to be able to keep yourself safe. So it's not intended for long-term housing, but it's a safe place for you to reside. They also provide first aid kits and those kinds of things to help people take care of themselves in a temporary emergency situation. The middle photo, some of my colleagues from Champaign Rotary went to Guadalajara, Mexico just a few weeks ago to help with clean water. And it's something that we all take for granted. You need water, turn on the tap, and you're good to go. Well, in some places in the world, still today, young girls primarily, because they don't go to school, so young girls might have to walk 5 miles with an empty bucket to go get water out of a dirty stream, and then walk 5 miles back. And that's drinking water, it's cooking water, it's water they use to do other things with it, things that you and I do with it. My colleagues were able to go down there and help repair and install wells to provide clean living water for folks, also to provide health care around first aid kits, hearing aids, wheelchairs, eyeglasses, those types of things. And then law enforcement, Champaign West Rotary had law enforcement come in to give a presentation. So just some examples of ways that we stay connected with our neighbors. Next slide, please. Barbara can talk a great deal about this event because it's her initiative. She and her fellow Rotarians partnered with Rotarians in Brazil to build out a functioning kitchen for women. Women who are, in many cases, victims of domestic violence, in some cases homeless, and without resources to help sustain themselves. So this initiative, partnership between Urbana Rotary and the Rotary in Brazil, was to provide a kitchen where these young women could learn food service skills and to take those skills and get a job or run a business. In other words, to provide a means for them to go from being helpless to actually being self-sustaining. Next slide. The folks with Champaign West Rotary, this is one of the speakers who often come to Rotary. There's a lot of people who are very talented who come to Rotary on a monthly basis to speak and share their insights, their ideas. This is an upcoming event. This young man provides insight on power grids. So he's with the U of I at the research department. And what they do is they provide information on how to create these power grids, how to maintain these power grids. Now, you might say, well, what does that have to do with me? Well, if you are part of Rotary, you might be a part of an initiative where you are working with your counterparts in another country where this information could be extremely helpful, right? Next slide. So we bring it back home. Obviously, there's a lot of activity that goes on in and around Champaign, Urbana, the Champaign County. Two examples, you folks know better than I, the Black Mental Health and Wellness Conference was a rounding success from what I understand. And I know that Barbara and her team are looking to continue that and continue supporting those initiatives. There are things that we don't often talk about, at least not publicly, but we know that is desperately needed. So the more we can be a part of and support these types of events, I think is better for all of us. Next slide, please. We talked a little bit about good governance, low levels of corruption, equitable distribution of resources. Just a half second on equitable distribution of resources. So what does that mean exactly? If you're in a community where you don't have access to the things that folks who may be more privileged have access to, you're already at a disadvantage. You're already behind the line, if you will, in being able to provide for your family, provide for yourself, advance within your community. So the opportunity to ensure that this foundational thing that we mostly take for granted is provided for all is a part of what Rotary does on a daily basis around the world. Next slide, please. Interact is a program operated largely in schools, high schools. So 13 to 18-year-olds are able to participate in Interact, sponsored by Rotary. Many of them travel around the world. Many of them do community service activities like voter registration. It is a highly respected activity and organizational structure. There's some 35,000 folks involved in Interact around the world. And if you know of young people who are of the age between 13 and 18 and are interested, have them talk to their high school counselors. It is widely known. If that's not a resource for you, talk to Barbara, talk to me. We'll put you in touch with the right people. Next slide, please. Last slide has to do with an upcoming event, and I know the folks are on the agenda to talk about this in more detail. I just want you to put this on your calendar. This is a great event. Urbana Rotary supports it. Champaign Rotary supports it, along with the Champaign County African American Heritage Trail and a lot of other things in the community. We want you to be a part of it. We need you to be a part of it. We need talented people like you to help us do what we do, not only here, but around the world. I'll leave you with this, and then I'm happy to take any questions. There's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Let's go together.
Yeah, we'll come back to the Peace March in a few moments. All right, so our friends from League of Women Voters are going to come up and talk about the importance of voting. Do we have any students make it up?
Yes, we do.
All right, come on, student. All right, that's one.
Thank you. Again, my name is...
Keep the mic up so we...
My name is Beth Martin. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Champaign County. And this is Kian Farrell, who is one of our wonderful student volunteers. We're getting ready to do our final voting in the primary election on March 19th. Early voting is already open, up and running, and Illinois is a wonderful state to live in for voting. We make it extremely, extremely, extremely easy to vote. So there is no excuse for anyone not voting in every single election. As I said, the primary voting ends on March 19th. The offices that will be on every person's ballot include President of the United States, U.S. House of Representatives, Illinois State Senators and Representatives, Champaign County officials, and Champaign County board members from each district. Next slide. Before you get ready to go vote, it's a good idea to confirm your voting district and download your sample ballot so you can see who you might be voting for. If you are unsure of the candidates you want to support, a wonderful, wonderful resource is the nonpartisan candidate guide that the League helps put together. This is a candidate-directed guide where they provide us the information they would like you, the voter, to vote to know. We don't do any other vetting beyond that. There's a handout in the back that lists all the candidates from both parties, and contested races or not, and it's on the back table. Next slide. Next slide. As I said, Illinois is a state that makes it very, very easy to vote. Currently, you can vote by mail. Tomorrow is the last day you can request a vote by mail ballot. so you can get it back in time for March 19th. You can vote early or you can register and vote the same day at any of the following locations. Brookings Center now through March 18th, and there are additional campus and county locations through March 18th. We also have a handout and bag with all the various different locations and Dropbox locations where you can vote. One of our most successful projects that is near and dear to our hearts is the Youth Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee, where we sponsor a student ambassadors program where we mentor students and provide many opportunities for civic engagement for them, including, most importantly, the opportunity to register their peers to vote. As you may know, in Illinois, if you're going to be 18 before a general election or election, you are allowed to register early and then vote in that election. This year, we have ambassadors in 6 different schools: Champaign Central, Champaign Centennial, Mahomet, Rantoul, Urbana, and University High. We have 14 wonderful student ambassadors who have been very engaged with their student bodies. This year, they registered 535 of their peers to vote. And we're very, very proud of that, because studies have found over and over and over again, the earlier you establish that voting pattern of voting in elections, the earlier it becomes a lifelong commitment. And democracy is a form of government that relies on the engagement of all its people. Next slide. The photo on the left is from Central High School, where Faith and L'Oreal are registering students to vote in their English class. The photo on the right is from Urbana High School, where Simone and Kian are sharing information and registering students to vote. Kian is here today to share a bit about his experience with you, and he'll be here after the meeting so you can ask any questions of him. Kian?
Hi. For me, being a student ambassador, it's important to me, but also to school. At my school, we have a lot of low-income students that don't really get the opportunity often to register to vote, so giving them that opportunity is important. This year at Urbana, we signed up 83 students to vote. Double the previous 2 years combined. It was pretty awesome. But this year I started to learn how interest in voting goes. Last year, the year previous, there was not as much interest, but due to the presidential election and other factors with the issues going on, there's a lot more interest in my peers voting, and it's important to gauge that interest in order to help sign up for voters, make our proceed.
The next slide. Every election is determined by the people who show up to vote. Lest anyone questions this, I have a very, very good friend who ran for office in her suburb of Chicago. She lost by one vote. Every single vote counts. We need everyone to show up for every election possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The importance of voting, right? So, great job. Was it Ian? What's the student's name? Kian. Great job, brother. Thank you. All right, put it on the floor. Okay. So let's put up the information about the Peace Walk. So this walk is one marketing thing that we put together, establishing the coalition. Really talks about our community walking as one, coming together. So roughly around quarterly, we have what we call Walk as One events where we go out into different neighborhoods, different parts of the community to share information, inform residents about different things going on. And so our last one we did when we partnered with the Read Talk Play partners, and we took books and reading information out to neighborhoods all across the community. So the April 4th event that we've heard about, we've now joined in as one of the partners participate in this day. So this was a snowed out ice event from January for MLK Day. And so the march is taking place 5:30. We're gonna go from King School to Douglas Park. And then are we coming back to King School? All right. So that's all of that's gonna happen that day. We'd love to have the community come out and support and talk about peace, celebrate Martin Luther King again, community coming together, walk as one. So pass the word. It's gonna be a great day. The weather's gonna be fantastic. I can promise you that. And so we wanted to.
Over your bus. For those with mobility issues, there will be a bus starting at Douglas Park that will take you to King Park to be able to join in all the festivities. And then also, if you want to walk to Douglas Park and not walk back to King, will also be a bus to do that for you as well.
Thank you. All right. So if you have any questions, I can't answer them. So you have a question?
You said King School, you meant King Park.
They're the same.
No, they're not. Not if you're gonna meet there, you need to be at the park.
See, I told you I didn't have the right information. So we're meeting at King Park.
At the park, and one of the earlier pictures that showed that wonderful.
Slow down, Deb. So you got to use the mic so Brian can get you recorded. And
Thanks, Barbara. One of the pictures had a beautiful picture of an art piece done by two local artists. Is that right, Barbara? At the corner of, is it Eads and Lincoln, which is up toward the sign for King Park. We will have time to talk about that. There's a number of speakers. This is really quite an event. And like you said, I mean, we couldn't walk down the 15th, and that's a crazy time to walk anyway.
all right, so a little more detail. I did see something about some peace poles. You all recall a couple of summers ago, we had a number of our students, our go-getters, our self-made kings, working on those peace poles together. We were bringing, Sam is here and led that work for us. So, April 4th, 5:30, King Park. All right, so, 8:30, you raising your hand?
No, sir, I'm stretching.
All right, stretching. Okay, so, Tracy's gotten us out early so we can go finish and enjoy the day, but it does give us a few moments. Anyone have anything for information sharing that they really would love to get out for the day? Don't who you are, where
Thank you, Tracy. My name is Robbie Walker. I got in a little bit late, but we'd like to share some information that's upcoming. I was part of the Healing Invisible Wounds conference that we put on last year towards the end of the year, which was pretty successful. It was geared towards helping veterans and their families with PTSD suicide prevention, intervention, and those types of things. We have an upcoming scheduled plan to meet again in June of this year, June 1st, at the Illinois LEAS building in Urbana, and it'll be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I'll let my cohort here speak a little.
Thank you very much. Nicole Massey with the Veterans Initiative. And if Robbie states that he was he's the main organizer of that event. So just to correct that. We had a great success with our first conference, the first part where we touched briefly on PTSD, but really just on the surface. We have the second event planned where we have the time to go a little bit deeper, provide the education, provide tools, talk to family. We hope that the community will show up again this time too. It's a really important event. We had a lot of veterans show up, and hopefully we can build that community and move forward. So this is the second part, June 1st, here in Urbana at the ILEAS.
They tried to sneak a whole presentation in on me, didn't they? All right, so ILEAS is where the next session will be.
Thanks. I just want to say, shout out to the Monticello Police. Is the chief Mr. Gross? Is he the chief of police there? Anyway, my granddaughter threw away some license plates at the special box at the Monticello DMV in late December, early January maybe. She was directed to do so by the DMV staff inside the building there when she went to get a new plate and register a different car. And the plates were stolen out of that box and put on a car that ended up in Berwyn, Illinois. The car they came off of had been totaled and it wasn't on the streets anymore. It took quite a bit of energy and time and tracking things down, and Chief Tyler helped us get in touch, his department did, with Monticello, and then Officer Gross helped us figure out what we needed to do to finally get those tickets dismissed through the city of Berwyn. So when I was in driver's ed 100 years ago, they told us to always tin snip our plates and not throw them away, and we've always done that, but I don't think they teach that anymore. So it'd be good for the community to spread that you don't throw your plates away even if they tell you to.
You're the coalition, you gotta get all types of stuff, all right?
You know, it's summer, almost summer, and I'm letting you know that we start registrations this Friday for summer camp at the Donward Boys and Girls Club. We're expecting 150 youth at the elementary Martin Center location and up to 75 at the club. We call it the club at Park Street now for middle and high school. Wow.
Couple more. All right. Get my steps in. I did walk this morning, but it's good. Follow up.
Hello, thank you, Tracy. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that the Youth Assessment Center has capacity to accept referrals, both from law enforcement, as well as if you're working with youth in the community as an agency or as a school, we're open to take referrals who may be struggling with challenging behaviors, at-risk behavior. Please send them our way, and I'm happy to stay for a few minutes after and connect as well.
I failed to mention, in the back of the room, the blue bags, there's more information on Rotary. Please, before you leave, grab a bag, grab some information. We'd love to hear from you.
I was glad Bill didn't go to another presentation.
This is going to be short. I'm Minnie Pearson, president of the NAACP Champaign County branch, and I am extremely proud of the Boys and Girls Club. So I want to ask Amy Brown, will there be opportunities for people to sponsor a child who's unable to financially meet their obligations?
Now you know she's got to have the mic.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. You can sponsor youth for summer programming and scholarshiping and all of those things. I know the Y has shared that as well. I know Champaign Park District does, the Banner Park District looking for scholarship support, so give everybody some love. All right, so I'm gonna get us out of here, let you go enjoy the day. Can we talk a little bit, Tori, and about summer employment stuff real quick? Thank you, everybody. Peace and love to you. Thanks.